My 27 male girlfriend 27 female is incredibly upset with me for asking her to take a paternity test. My 4-month-old fiancé, we've been dating for 5 years, is expecting our first child. She'll be a terrific mother and a fantastic companion. I was cheated on often in my previous long-term relationship. I really like it. I'm not sure how many people I've cheated on with to this day. When we were both present, I was young, had really poor self-esteem, and believed that I would never meet another lady who would want to be with me. We dated for 3 years, from the ages of 17 to 20. She was the stereotypical party girl, but I am not. She would party virtually every weekend, ending up at frat houses where the drink flowed and waking up in beds with guys who weren't me. I had no idea till we got gonorrhea. She apologized and sobbed, claiming she had a drinking problem and would blank out and effing other guys. She said she would stop drinking, and she did. For around 4 months. Then she'd go to parties and be ed all over again. She found out she was pregnant at the conclusion of our relationship. I was terrified, but I was determined to do the right thing. But then I heard another clap. I told her we were going to get a pregnancy test, and lo and behold, it wasn't my kid. I instantly ended my relationship with her. Since then, I've made it a point to always take a pregnancy test whenever someone claims I placed a baby in them. My girlfriend is 5 weeks pregnant, and I informed her 3 weeks ago that I needed a paternity test. I told her it was more about me than about her, and that I was certain the baby was mine. My suggestion irritated her to no end. She accused me of calling her a wuss. We battled briefly until I said that I wanted to discuss this later. I mentioned it last week. She became agitated and wanted to know what I was doing to push her to distrust me. She wouldn't believe it if I told her I trusted her, but she only wanted one. She grudgingly agreed, claiming that I was a paranoid jerk. How can I persuade her of my point of view? I can't do it for the life of me. Yeah, okay, I get it, I'm being a jerk. I'm going to apologize and tell her I absolutely trust her. I was wrong to feel that way since I'm meant to trust her entirely. We've been together for 5 years and I asked her to marry me. So it's crazy for me to not believe her about this, especially because it wasn't her who harmed me in the first place. Story number 2. The mother, 40F, of my son's, 8M, closest friend, 8M, asks her daughter, 5F, to my 40F. Home when I welcome her son, and I'm not sure how to handle it. Will, my 8-year-old son, and I are a single mother. We kind of bubbled with his closest buddy Cody's family at COVID. During that time, I brought Cody's 5-year-old sister, Mary, over to play a few times, as well as one evening for a movie night, so Cody's parents could have a date night if they chose. All of those invitations were initiated by me, and I prepared for them, purchased snacks, cleaned ahead of time, and was ready to assist and direct activity since the sister is only 5, and I like having children here. When I invite Cody over for a sleepover, his mother, Beth, asks if Mary may come along as well. Alternatively, she has Mary ask me personally. This may happen at either the moment of drop-off or pick-up or both. And I said okay for maybe a year. But I really need my weekend time to clean, make meals, do laundry, and do the work of life, so that I can be present for my kid once the sleepover/playdate is finished. And the whole time Mary and her mother are here, I am being asked to watch Mary do this or that, or to fetch her a snack, a fresh snack, a band-aid for a boo-boo, or to converse with the mother. And I do love my mother's company, but not for 30-90 minutes when I haven't planned for it or invited her over, when I should be preparing dinner, shifting laundry, cleaning bathrooms, or addressing my to-do list. Beth contacted me many months while they cleaned up the ceiling that had fallen onto their vehicle and garage. Of course, I answered sure, but my ex-husband was in town visiting our son, so I told him I wouldn't be able to babysit them until noon, when he was scheduled to depart. At noon, Beth brought the kids over and told me that they had cleaned everything up while the kids played inside, but that she hadn't had a chance to do the errands she had intended to run that morning. And I was very stunned by this knowledge since I do errands with my kid because errands are a necessary part of life. And I began to feel bitter that I was spending my day watching her kids while she went shopping for school supplies, something I hadn't done yet. She also asked if I could bring her children over for a movie night while she had a work party. And it's good to inquire, but that particular day didn't work for me. I only send out such kinds of invitations when my partner isn't accessible and I'm on top of my domestic responsibilities. But she seemed to be expecting me to say yes, as if that was her babysitting plan for the night. I arrived early for the autumn festival, and my kid had finished his activities, so I had him stand in one food truck line while I stood in another. I'm teaching him to order, buy, and pick up his own food. And then we went to the playground to eat and play with him. When Beth, her husband, Cody, and Mary arrived, Beth's husband went to get in line for food, and Beth asked, "Can you keep an eye on Cody?" And I said yes, he was literally playing with my son, and they are both 8 and inseparable. So finding my son, which I can easily do, is also finding Cody in a second. "And Mary is here someplace too," she says, and I instantly remarked, "I don't know what she looks like, since all of the kids are dressed up." "She's a dragon," Beth replied. "And it's late at night, and there are children everywhere. It's dark, and there are around 50 youngsters dressed up." And I said, "I'm not going to be able to locate her." And Beth pointed her out, and her head was covered, and I was simply never going to figure out which one she was until she was pointed out. Then Beth went into line with her husband, while I supervised their children. I don't expect preferential treatment from my friends, society, or life as a single mother. But the truth is that there is no second parent to babysit my kid while I do errands or wait in line for food at his autumn festival. I take my kid with me on errands and make him wait in line for meals. Being asked or ordered to babysit or host a kid when I did not volunteer makes me feel bitter and dumped on. Even more so when Cody and Mary's mother and father let me to babysit their children as they stood in the same line. It may seem selfish and petty of me to believe that one of them should be minding their own children. Things I've attempted. Saying no, today won't work, when asked if Mary could come play was great the first time, but the second time, Beth bringed Mary and Beth walked in the front door and informed her 5-year-old that she had to wait in the front yard since I said she couldn't, and I didn't back down. As a result, Mary moaned from the front yard through the slightly ajar door, saying it's all right for Mary to come in and play as long as Beth keeps an eye on her since I'm in a meeting right now, which I was. Mary and Beth stayed for a short time. I'd begun inviting other boys around for playdates to assist my kid widen and diversify his social network. But Cody is his absolute closest friend. I'm not going to stop inviting him over. Cody is a really easygoing youngster. Playdates and sleepovers with him are always a blast. He is courteous, listens, and follows my instructions. Mary does not follow instructions. When she doesn't like the snacks I provide, she pouts and whines and requests a new one. Currently, I just offer an apple or a cheese stick and nothing else. I read, "If you're not hungry for an apple, you're not hungry." She is more challenging than my son or her brother. Yet she is just 5 years old. I simply need a plan to avoid being dumped on or to learn to not be resentful of it. I completely get that I may be so wrapped up in negativity that I'm spiraling in bitterness when this is all quite normal. I've never had such a problem with inviting siblings over. Is this typical, and all I need to do is modify my attitude about it? Is there anything more I can say?